In this video, we'll be covering a storm that could be impacting the south, east, and east United States. There will also be an enhanced risk for the south, east, and east United States. Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we will be talking about a very enhanced tornado risk tomorrow. So, here we have SPC's outlook for January 1st, December 31st, day 2, which is January 1st. We can see here an enhanced risk here for a pretty large area with a population of 12 million people and 127,000 square miles. Now, this is covering a pretty large area and is covering a larger area than we would like to see. This could go up to a moderate risk, but that is up to the NHA and SPC, and we'll see what happens from then. The tornado risk here, which is the most concerning out of all of these, is we have an hatched area over here, which is 10% or greater probability of EF2 through EF5 tornadoes within 25 miles of this point. This will cause a good bit of tornadoes in this area. Nothing like a super outbreak, but it will cause some pretty strong tornadoes in here. It's not necessarily going to happen, but it has a higher risk than it not being hatched. If we go to the wind here, we can see 30% risk of straight line winds, 15% in this yellow, and then in the brown we have a 5%. Now the 15% here, which is the yellow, covers 169,000 square miles and 18 million area population, which this is double the 30%, which is the red, and more than the more widespread brown area, which is the 5%. This could cause pretty big issues of how much area this is covering. If we go to hail now, we can see a little bit less widespread, but still nonetheless, we have a 15% chance covering 11 million people population and 138,000 square miles. Now, the brown here is covering much less with 89,000 square miles and 7,000 area population, and they'll be covering some pretty big cities. Now let's go ahead and move on to HRRR and let's see what they're predicting. And we can see, I've already moved it out a little bit. Ooh. And we can see first, we can see discrete cells already here starting to pop up as we move on into the New Year's. And happy New Year's Eve and New Year's, everyone. Hope you guys have a great rest of the year, which is only a few hours. And I hope you guys have a great 2022. Now, as we can see, okay, there we go. Discrete cells already popping up here within the state of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and pretty sure that's either Mississippi or Alabama. And we can see the main stream of moisture over there that will be developing. 2 frames out, we can see a good chunk of rain and a good line here with the low pressure, and then a few discrete and isolated cells, maybe even supercells. Over here, they are less isolated, but these could be causing good hail and good rain showers over the North Carolina and South Carolina states. As we move it out 2 frames, we can see this area over here will be moving across the North Carolina state and off into the ocean, while the mainstream here is causing more isolated cells and supercells that will be caused. These are the ones that cause the tornadoes, not the ones that are within the line of storms. The ones that are in front and behind the line sometimes. The ones that are on their own. These are the ones that develop that nice hook echo and that nice hail core, and this will cause damage if a tornado forms. Now, if we move it out 2 frames, we can see the hail risks are starting to show here with very heavy rain here and possibly some hail. We can see the isolated cells aren't really popping up yet, but we can see here, a few over here that will start to move across the southeast and east and will become much stronger. We can see here the stream here is becoming much stronger here, dropping a good bit of hail, and on the tail end we can see some isolated cells and supercells, and those will cause tornadoes. Now, that little bit of rain over there I was talking about earlier, here they are, some isolated cells ahead of the storm, and this is what causes the damage, and this is what will form into even stronger supercells. And maybe if they're just isolated storm cells, maybe they can evolve into a supercell. As we can see, the winter storm part of it is starting to move in here with a good chunk of ice and a little bit of snow showers mixing in with that ice. Low pressure system has moved farther south, and the moisture stream has gotten much stronger, causing probably some severe storms here and maybe some flooding issues. If we move it out 2 more frames, we can see those isolated storm cells start to become main moisture streamed, but we can see here more isolated storm cells down near Texas that will be moving up the line and eventually becoming part of the line. We can see isolated storm cells right here, more right here. We can see isolated storm cells right there. These could evolve into more powerful supercells. As we move it out, we can definitely start to see these cells pop up. We can see all of these cells here that are starting to pop up here, and these are the ones that cause damage. This is what I'm worried about here, the widespread area of these supercells ahead of the storm. The stream here has become a little bit weaker here, as only pop-up heavy showers and maybe hail over here. 2 frames, we can see the winter storm part definitely has been kicking in over the few frames. Good bit of ice here and snow as far as we can see here, and that will be heading up further north, and the south will say wet, mucky, and full of storm activity. We can see here the discrete cells still popping up here at around midnight. This is New Year's here. This is New Year's right now. Well, not right now, but the frames are showing New Year's. This is what New Year's is gonna look like. New Year's is gonna look like, for the farther south areas, you guys for New Year's could be hunkering in storm cells. Sounds kind of sad, could be hunkering basement storm cellars, but as long as you're safe, your lives are the most important. We can see here still isolated cells popping up, and this will be heading well into tomorrow. And we can see the discrete cells showing their most power here, causing a lot of isolated cells. They're not discrete, they're isolated, and these cells are very strong here. We can see these reds and yellows. This means very heavy rain, and we can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, it may not be high enough quality, but if we zoom in as close as we can, I don't think we can zoom in any closer. Well, this is the best we got. We can see here the HRR, HRRR, we can see a little bit of a hook echo on here. So this is a very strong supercell and possibly a tornado maker here. This will be heading up and getting stronger possibly as we move it out a little bit more. We can see it do start to fall apart because this is hours of time, but that could have been a very dangerous situation if this plays out. The snow and ice starts to move away, the low pressure system gets stronger as it moves up the coast. The low pressure system starts to move out, but as we can see, so when I was at the 12 p.m. right here, that is 12 p.m. That is not midnight. That is definitely not midnight, but we can still see these major storms popping up. We can see that hook echo I was showing you guys about has dissipated here over the few hours, and we can see the overall strength of the isolated storm cells have been going down throughout the day, and as we can see they move out. It starts to become the mainstream line here, but here could have some isolated tornadoes because of the last of the line. You know, they could be a little bit of isolated, but as a storm starts to move out, we can see sort of the cold come in and not as well tornado capability. And as we move out, it goes over North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. We can see the cold air definitely starting to show here, as we can see the snow, rain, and ice. So that was a very impactful storm. Well, could have been if this plays out. But let's go ahead and look at the GFS and look at the bigger picture. See what's going on outside of there, such as wintry mix and road hazards. And low quality. There we go. So now it is really showing. We need to move this back. So we can really see how the storm started here. There's a clipper system up here and a good dip in the jet stream here, causing pretty cold temperatures. So this low pressure follows the jet stream here. The jet stream does move, so sometimes it does dip, so the low pressure system follows it. But we can see a good bit of snow and rain for Mexico, Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. And if we move out, we can definitely see this cold front starting to take shape. We can see this big line of rain here and snow after, and then we can see this perfect 540 line, which is the freezing temperatures right here at the warmer temperatures that are above freezing, and that definitely shows the cold front. As we move it out here, there's a little bit of rain here and a good bit of snow after. This is when we start seeing the discrete cells here popping up. GFS is less quality and more spread out because it's zoomed out farther and it's a more widespread model. But we can definitely see here a good bit of snow for the areas behind the cold front. Move it out 2 more frames. You can see the storm does start to dissipate, as we can see it, and we can see that dip in cold temperatures right after. Move it out, we can see the storm regains strength right here and moves off the coast eventually, and that dip causes snow for the not Appalachians, but Tennessee area and Alabama or Mississippi. As we move on, see very heavy snow here, and this will be causing some pretty icy roads and snowy roads, so do not drive. Very heavy wet snow though, so it's not going to stick on the ground as well because of how warm it's been. Extremely heavy snow, but again, it's very wet snow and is not going to stick on the ground. It may be heavy for a good while, but then it moves out and everything is dried up. Clipper system here combines with a little bit of moisture and goes up to the northeast and causes a big line of snow here that could be causing a lot of bad road conditions, and a good bit of snow. But that is for another video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.